Here's a sneak peek from today's episode.
But you don't want to be the social media police. Let people be people, because when they become authentic on that and when they're telling their personal stories, their engagement is going to grow. So then when they're able to they're doing their personal stories, and then they're able to talk about how their brand, their company fits into that world, people are going to listen to it.
Welcome to the Content Amplified podcast, brought to you by Masset. Our goal is to help you get more from your marketing content. Each episode is a 10 to 15 minute interview with industry experts that share amazing insights to help you squeeze as much juice from your content as you possibly can. Here's today's interview.
Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today I'm joined by Brad. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Benjamin.
Yeah, Brad, I'm excited for the conversation. Even in the conversation before we clicked record, I love this subject. I think it's something that people really need to pay attention to. But before we dive into it, let's get to know you. Tell us a little bit about your work background and history.
Yeah. So I've been in marketing for 25 years. I'm one of those rare people who've worked for the same company for their entire career. Graduated from the University of Georgia with a history degree. Thought I was going to work for the Park Service because I loved storytelling. I loved history. I loved all those different things. But life got in the way, I guess, and I ended up in an amazing startup and have been able to grow with the company ever since, and been able to lead the storytelling and growth of that company, which has been really exciting.
Love it. That's amazing. Well, Brad, today we're going to talk about a subject that is super timely. It's something that I think a lot of businesses need to have on their radar and really focus on this. It's about maximizing your employees' personal brands and how that relates to like your professional business brand, your content. It's an interesting time. It used to be that a business would post everything. They want their employees to stay quiet, not share anything, just let the marketing team do that. But now people really want to know the people behind the brand, and people are encouraging their employees to participate. So why should employees participate? Why are they a part of a brand? Why is this important to have on our radar as marketers and business leaders?
Yeah, well, from a brand perspective, and it's hard to accept this sometimes as professional marketers, but people buy from people, and the personal brand has far greater reach than your professional brand, particularly in the social media world, ever can, because people know authenticity and they see it, and they understand that from a personal level that they're never going to get from a business level. So you've got to figure out how to tap into your personal brand to bring growth. And it's difficult because one, you got to understand that you're losing a little bit of control. And you also got to get these individuals to understand why it's important for them to put themselves out, because a lot of people don't want to put themselves out.
Yeah, I love that. So I love the reasoning. I love the logic. How do we do it? Like you said, you lose a little bit of control. And I think a lot of people get nervous and hung up on that step. So what does like a well executed kind of system here look like?
Well, first, you've got to push your people to be on these social media platforms, and you got to push them to be themselves on it. And you need to accept that they're going to post stuff that has nothing to do about your business, and that is actually good for your business. You don't want to be the social media police. I mean, obviously, you got to stay away from the politics and religion, but you don't want to be the social media police. Let people be people, because when they become authentic on that and when they're telling their personal stories, their engagement is going to grow. So then when they're able to they're doing their personal stories, and then they're able to talk about how their brand, their company fits into that world, people are going to listen to it. So the key is let them be them, let them be authentic, and then find a way to feed them the information that they can get to very easily, that you want them talking about for your company, so that they can then put that into their playbook. I always tell people I want you posting 3 times a week, and only one of them needs to be about IST. The other 2, whatever you want them to be about, just make sure you're putting it out there, that it's authentic, that it's about you. And if you do that, your personal brand's going to grow and our professional brand's going to grow. So it's a plus for both of us.
I love it. Are you incentivizing, or, I mean, obviously you're encouraging 3 times a week and giving guidelines, and we can get into how are you making things easier, but do you have to do you do bonuses? Do you do contests? How do you actually get people to build these habits of participating online?
We don't do bonuses because once again, I want it to be authentic and I want the person to want to be out there, because if they want to be out there and they can see how it helps them, they're going to be more successful. In terms of, marketing and sales, we're always trying to figure out how to work together. If a sales rep will work with me on this, they can very quickly see how it actually being personal on the social media leads to them getting more deals, interacting authentically with their customers, not pitching them, just the ones following the ones that interact on social media and commenting and reflecting and starting to build those soft relationships allows them to get to that appointment faster, and then those appointments are more authentic. So we're trying to teach them and show them that there's a lot of softwares out there that you can use that help on getting the content that you want them to be posting on behalf of the company out there. And there's a lot of gamification and ranking and different things you can do in that. We've done a little bit of it. We certainly put some contests around, hey, the person with the greatest reach this month gets a $50 gift card, or this. And we did a lot of that in the early stages of rolling out our employee application programs. But we've, once people bought in and understand, we haven't had to do that anymore because they see the personal value in it and the professional value in it.
I love that. Is it just like marketing and sales, or is it the whole company? Who are you trying to get to interact, or is it just blatant everyone should be a part of this?
Everyone certainly can be a part of it because everyone has a unique group of people that they're following, and all of those people fit into the funnel in different ways. At IST, we do our sales, all our operations team, all our executive team. Those are the groups that we put into our actual program, but anybody can be part of it and help at any level. But those are the people that have the networks that are our buyers. So they're the ones that we're spending the most time with.
I love that. That was going to be another question. Sometimes you're in a business where honestly you sell to people. In my last businesses I was a part of, we sold to dentists. And I was like, I have like maybe 2 dentists in my network. And
Right.
so I love that you're talking about, okay, find the people that are connected to the right people in the business. That's who you want to be talking, all of that kind of fun stuff. It's really important to have those groups. So I love that. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, everyone in my network is in B2B marketing. And we're in that. They're not our buyers. They're not buying. But our sales rep and our operations managers, through their interactions, they have built the brands or the networks that we want to be selling to. And then our personal or our professional brand on LinkedIn, I mean, it's like most, probably 25% of it is our employees, and the other 75 or another 25% of it are people that just want to sell to us. It's already been diluted in that way. So our actual buyers aren't necessarily even following our brand, or not as high a level as we would love.
Yeah, I love that. That makes perfect sense. Marketers often get caught up in needing to justify everything and have metrics that show revenue impact, all that fun stuff. How do you look at that? Is this one of those spaces where it's just like, we're going to have the goodwill of the market, we're going to do this, this, and this, and we know it's the right thing to do? Or are there specific metrics that you're looking
Yeah.
at on a regular basis to really justify and know that it's working and growing?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have the content that your individuals are posting that is their personal content. But when it comes time to post the professional content, you want to partner with a software program. There's a ton out there that allows you to host all that content in there. So it's very easy for them to get. It has the links, it has the beautiful graphics, all of that. And when they post it through that program, now you start to get all the data. So you're getting the data on the reach, on the engagement, the social, or on the paid value of it. So you can literally, a LinkedIn ad costs me $1 per 1,000 impressions, whatever that is. Well, you can see I just had from this individual 1,000 impressions on their post about our product. So now I can attribute that back to what I would have had to spend on LinkedIn ads to get that. So if you use those software programs, you get all the fancy tools, all that. But what's also great about it too is you get to see, well, these pieces aren't hitting well with anybody. but these pieces are. So let's change our content strategy a little bit here. Let's lean a little bit in more into the culture, because those are really resonating and getting our voice out. But of course, we still have to have the product ones, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to sell. But it lets you kind of find that mix, because you get all the matrix behind it. And we went from a brand that pretty solid brand, 20,000 LinkedIn followers, we get in a year, I don't know, 250,000 impressions. Yeah, that's great. And now in a single month, we get from our amplification program well over 500,000 impressions every month from them, when we were getting half of that in an entire year. So we've been able to very quickly find the ROI on the investment overnight. And these programs, I mean, they're not inexpensive, but they're not CRM expensive, so they're very manageable.
I love that. Are you doing additional coaching to help the employees understand because obviously there's one side is posting content, but then there's interacting in comments. And then there's, the algorithm side of things like LinkedIn, where you need to go out there and engage with X amount of people every day. Do you kind of lay out some of those things, or is it pretty much posting based?
Yeah, so we absolutely do all the coaching. We sit with individuals and we talk about, you need to post this. You need to have, like I said earlier, 3 posts a week. You have to engage with your buyers. You have to be commenting on people not in your first network, but your second and third network. I mean, comment on your first network too, but you have to build on those second and third networks to grow your personal network, to reach people that you didn't think you were going to reach. But the other big coaching we do, which is around the posting. So all these software programs, you can set up an auto queue, and they're lovely. They get the content out there quickly. My marketing team write really great content and all of that. And it goes out and it's from Benjamin and it has a little spill. And you had, as Benjamin, had zero thought. You said, I'm going to post things on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm just going to let my marketing team fill up my auto queue. And we will do that day in and day out. But your auto queue post versus the same person with an identical network that says, I'm not going to do the auto queue. I'm going to take what you're telling me to post and I'm going to write my own content for it. Doesn't need to be anything crazy, or, it's 3 or 4 lines, but anybody will take 5 minutes a day and write their own content, send it out from our system. Theirs is going to do 8 times better every single time, because people know what's authentic. People can sniff AI and they're like, that's real, and they're going to engage with it. And I show this to, I will literally, when we bring in a new rep or a new operations manager, I'm like, okay, we're going to post the same thing tomorrow at the same time. You're going to post the one that my marketing department wrote the little script on. I'm going to post the one that I put a little bit of effort into, and we're going to see how mine engages so much stronger than yours. And it's not about my network. It's just about that it's authentic.
I love that. I think that is such a big key. And thank you for doing that, because as a consumer as well on these social platforms, I love the authenticity. I love it when people are sharing real good things. And I don't care if it's on a same theme or a subject, but I want to know their unique perspective, their unique point of
Exactly.
view. And that's what makes social media and relationships and stories and content interesting. So I love that you haven't even just said, okay, well, it's just for engagement. But it's really like, this is the right way of doing it. And I love how you prove it and test it and say, all right, we'll run this test and you'll see what happens. I have a million questions, but we're out of time today. Brad,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the insights. I love the subject. I love what you're doing. If anyone wants to connect and reach out with you online, how and where can they find you?
Yeah, I mean, the best place is going to be on LinkedIn. You can find me at Brad Burgess on LinkedIn anywhere. I post all types of stuff, from, like I said, things about the company to, I'm a landscape photographer, so I love to talk about how I take landscape photography and the lessons I learned there and relate them back to being a better creative marketer.
Love it. And everyone listening, look in the show notes to connect with Brad. We'll have the links right there. Brad, thank you again. Really do appreciate the time and insights today.
Absolutely. This has been a pleasure, Benjamin.
Thank you for listening to the Content Amplified podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And for additional ways to get more out of your content, visit our website at getmasset.com. That's getmasset.com. And tune in next time to the Content Amplified podcast.